Hello, everyone. Sorry for the late night live. I had traveling and back-to-back classes when the question paper was released. So I did not get time to look at the question paper and analyze it and to do YouTube live. So finally today I'm doing it. I really want to look at the questions and help you understand how MCQ questions are made, how you should answer the questions. As we all know, multiple choice questions are made based on facts, based on analysis, based on your comprehension of the text. You should know what is there in the text. You should be able to interpret it. You should be able to connect it with criticism or the features of the movement or the period, chronology, etc. When UGC makes multiple choice questions, they usually make it in a statement type, and they also give what is called distractors, because of the distractors, we will be able to, they will make us get confused. We will become confused and go and click the wrong answer. This happens always. So let us take a look at the question paper itself. I'm just sharing my screen and see what is wrong here. How UGC net or NTA net always tricks us into choosing the wrong answers. I'm not going to do paper 1. I'm going to do paper 2 only. That is starting from question number 51. Okay. Here we have 51. View became 2 page. I'll make it single page. Okay. Identify the subtitle of Oliver Goldsmith's semi-autobiographical poem, The Traveler. That is an answer that I suppose everybody who has studied with us know. It is there in our encyclopedia also. At least now you should know. It is a prospect of society. I don't know how to mark it here. It's not coming out right, but that doesn't matter. Oliver Goldsmith's The Traveler is subtitled A Prospect of Society. It is not a difficult question because it is you are supposed to know it, and I have taught this. I suppose all students should know this. Okay, let us come to the next question. Question number 52. Yeah, it is here. Read the following statements carefully. This is not a very big question because there are only 5 sentences, and that too mostly short sentences. Isn't it? Only short sentences. It's not a very big question. A very big question, in one Northeast let, every sentence was very, very long. Like that also they have asked. This is not a very big sentence. Look at this. A mixed metaphor, okay, conjoins 2 or more obviously diverse metaphoric vehicles. Vehicle and tenor. Elsewhere also there was there. That's terms used for metaphor by I.A. Richards. Vehicle and tenor. One side of the metaphor is called tenor. If my face is like the moon, then moon is the vehicle, my face is the tenor. So mixed metaphor conjoins 2 or more obviously diverse. You don't even have to interpret. Mixed metaphor, 2 or more metaphoric vehicles. Correct. A is correct. In metonymy, part of something is used to signify the whole. Even BA students should know this is synecdoche. It is not metonymy, but synecdoche. So B is not correct. Metonymy is not part of something is used to signify. To scan a passage of verse is to go through it line by line to analyze its content. Scanning does not mean going deep line by line. So C is also wrong. Scanning, this is in-depth studying, not scanning. The term kenning, I have taught you, maybe you already know that kenning is an Old English and Old Germanic also term. A kenning is a descriptive phrase that comes in the place of a word. Instead of a word, a descriptive phrase. So D is correct. Kenning also is a basic BA level term. Figurative language is often divided into, what do you mean by figurative language? Metaphor, simile, into two categories, tropes and schemes. So here, what do you know? You know that B is absolutely wrong. You know that D is absolutely right. Mixed metaphor also probably right. It doesn't take this long if you are used to reading. If you are used to reading, you don't have to take that long to analyze. That is why before the exam, you should get practice reading. So, since B is definitely wrong, it cannot be 2, 3, or 4. B, only you need to know. 2, 3, or 4 wrong. So, it has to be A, D, E. And that is the given answer. A, D, E is the given answer. Look at the next question. The Official Languages Commission submitted its report in 1936. You should know it is wrong because it is very famous. It is in the 1950s, isn't it? Official Languages Commission. The fight over Hindi and all happened. Okay. So you know this is wrong. It is a very famous thing. You should know this. A is wrong. The first ELTI was established in Allahabad. No idea. You don't know when it was established. Doesn't matter. CIEFL was established in Hyderabad in 1958. Maybe you don't know that also. Unless you are a student from CIEFL, you wouldn't know. Doesn't matter. You don't have to know. National Policy on Education. That is very famous. It came in 1968, not 1960. National NPE. I have taught this. I'm sure all teachers teach this. NPE is wrong. This is D is wrong. NEP and POA came in 1986 is correct. NEP and POA is 1986. Everybody should know. So A is definitely wrong. If A is definitely wrong, it cannot be 2. Then D is definitely wrong. If D is definitely wrong, it cannot be 4. Okay. NEP and POA. E is definitely right. So it has to be B, C, E. You don't even have to look at B and C. These are distractors. They are just causing distraction to you by giving you things that you don't clearly know and stressing you out. Do not get stressed out. When you look at the question, you have to tell yourself, I know this. You know, with the knowledge you know, you will be able to answer. I'm telling my students, I don't know about the others. With the knowledge you know, you will be able to answer. Okay, now let us go on to the next question. Where is it? Okay, question number 55. Who made the following remark? The Sanskrit, okay, you are telling yourself, I don't know anybody's remark, but let me read this. It is easy. You tell yourself. The Sanskrit language, whatever be its antiquity, is a wonderful structure. Then you look at the options. You know for sure that Sir William Jones talked about Sanskrit. He thought that Sanskrit is the mother of Latin. But Patsy M. Light Brown, you don't have to know them. They are distractors. It is not like in the next exam you have to study about Patsy M. Light Brown. It doesn't work like that. They only want you to know William Jones. A.S. Hornby is a famous linguist. Ferdinand de Saussure did not talk about Sanskrit. You don't know. Anyway, William Jones must have said it because William Jones appreciated Sanskrit. And William Jones is the answer. Even without reading the entire thing, by reading only the first line, 3/4 of the first line, you can answer this. Who has designed Panopticon? And you don't have to read. It is Jeremy Bentham. Everybody knows it is Jeremy Bentham. Panopticon, Jeremy Bentham. So first 4 questions were easy. Now, let us take a look at the next question. Which of the following is not a distinct discourse analytical research tradition? The whole question is a distractor. Discourse analytical research, some big kind of research. You have to think like that. Suggested by Margaret Wetherall. You don't know who she is. You don't have to know. Discourse analytical research. Some analytical high-sounding research it is. Is it discursive psychology? Maybe. Bakhtinian research? Maybe, because Bakhtin has talked about polyphony, heteroglossia, etc. Sassurian research. That doesn't fit in. There is nothing called Sassurian research. Saussure did not contribute to research. He was a linguist. You know, like Bakhtinian or Foucauldian, there is nothing called Sassurian research. That is the thing here. You don't have to know Margaret Wetherall. You have to know that Sassurian research does not come in this category. Did you understand? So I know in the exam hall it is not easy, but at least I want you to know that don't feel bad, don't feel distressed. You are in the right place. You are studying the right things. Do not think that they are asking Margaret Weatherall and for the next exam you have to study Margaret Weatherall. That it doesn't work like that. Okay, now question number 59. According to Ferdinand de Saussure, what is the minimum number necessary to complete the speaking circuit? Even if you don't know Saussure and linguistics, Saussurean linguistics that much, minimum number to do speaking circuit. So that means sender, receiver. You know, how many people should be there to do this? Think like a child. Think with your existing knowledge. Don't overthink in the exam hall. It is two. You know, speaker should be there, listener should be there, sender should be there, receiver should be there. It is two. Do not overthink. Why do you want to think it is 3 or 4? Forget what Saussure thought. Think with your common sense. You don't know what Saussure thought. Okay, fine. Think with your common sense. Speaker and listener, two. All right. I know in the exam hall, you might tend to overthink. Doesn't matter. But at least now stop blaming yourself. You know a lot. You are amazing students. You have studied so much. With your existing knowledge, you could have done this correctly. What we need is this practice with stress. What we need is practice in the exam hall. What we need is not knowledge. This is not about knowledge. Now listen to this. Patrick White, Christina Stead, and Robertson Davies are the famous Australian novelists. You think it is correct? Maybe. Patrick White definitely is a novelist. Robertson Davies wrote novels, Salterton Trilogy, Deptford Trilogy. He also wrote drama, didn't he? Christina Stead is a novelist. You're thinking, okay, leave it. The notion of keep it aside. The notion of civilized barbarity was anticipated by H. Rider Haggard's 1887 novel Alan Quatermain, in which civilization is maybe correct because it is so detailed, so descriptive. Maybe correct. Why should you think negatively? Maybe correct. Keep it aside. Novels like French Lieutenant's Woman. Yes, I know that. Novels like French Lieutenant's Woman, Midnight Children, Waterland deconstruct traditional notions of history and subjectivity. Absolutely correct. C is completely correct. O'Brien's Country Girls trilogy. I didn't study that. I don't know. McGahern's The Dark were banned in Ireland. I didn't study Irish literature. Keep it aside. You don't know whether it is correct. The trauma of the mid-century years accounts for the prevalence of dystopian. Mid-century means middle of the 20th century. Second World War was there. Yeah, that is why dystopian elements were there in novels. A Clockwork Orange was there. Handmaid's Tale was there. Yeah, both these are mid-century. Lanark, I have not heard. But I will safely say you are thinking like a student. C is correct. E is correct. Unnecessarily don't think. C is correct. E is correct. There is only one option with C and E. With your existing knowledge, you can know it is B, C, E, and that is the answer. Why do you unnecessarily think? Why are you distracted by Rider, Haggard, and Margaret Weatherly and all that? Just trust yourself. They are just stressing you out. They are playing with your mind. I have told my students this already. They are just trying to make you confused. You should not be confused. Trust your knowledge because you have studied thoroughly. All these things you don't even have to look at. Without that, you can know the answer. Okay. Charles Lamb was a lifelong friend of Coleridge. Yes, I have taught you that. You know it. Defender of the poetic creed of Wordsworth. Most probably. Why should you think he did not support Wordsworth? Maybe he supported. Yes. The London crowd with its pleasures and occupations never attracted Charles Lamb. Maybe not, maybe because he was a quiet person, maybe not. Let us keep it aside. Charles Lamb gave the best pen portraits of Coleridge. He wrote about Coleridge, Hazlitt, Lander, Hood, many more interesting men. Maybe correct. Read the next. Next. Charles Lamb wrote essays of Elia. Yes. Tales from Shakespeare. Yes. Revolt of the Tartars is not by Charles Lamb. Anybody who studied encyclopedia or studied Charles Lamb or studied thoroughly would know. Revolt of the Tartars is, you're thinking, is it by Hazlitt? Is it by Leigh-Hunt? Maybe Hazlitt. It is not Charles Lamb. You should know that. This whole five sentences is actually about who wrote Revolt of the Tartars. Because if you know that this is not Charles Lamb, you will get the answer. You know D is surely wrong. Okay? Then this cannot be the answer. 2 cannot be the answer. 4 cannot be the answer. And look at E. Charles Lamb. So it must be A, 1 or 3. Charles Lamb was especially fond of old writers. I have taught you that. You should know that. Because he was apparently unable to express his new thought without using old quaint expressions. That is there in the encyclopedia. He used old quaint expressions. He wrote in an archaic style. E is completely correct. D is completely wrong. E is completely correct. So the answer must be ACE. Got it? Answer must be ACE. Because E is correct. We have to choose E. With your existing knowledge, with D and E, you can guess this. This is not a difficult question. Okay, next, I will go to the next question. Arrange the following plots chronologically. This only if you study Aristotle's Poetics, you will know. Every criticism and theory essay and book, you should look at it like a text. You should read the text. Any time they can ask about off-dramatic poesy or preface to the fables or preface to Shakespeare, etc., like this textually. You should study it. I'm not going into this. Anyway, it has to be contested, I think. Next one, very easy. One day I wrote her name, I don't know. Under the Greenwood Tree, I know it is Shakespeare. The Curfew Tolls, I know it is Thomas Gray. So with B2 and 3-1, there is only one option. B2 and 3-1, only one option, that is 2. Got it? Why are you even reading the rest? Because you know what is there. You know some things that are there. Okay? Whatever you told me after the exam was completely wrong, my dear friends. This exam is a silly exam. You have to get the hang of it. You have to get the knack. Mugging up more and more knowledge is not what you should do. This is a skill-based exam now. The skill of reading, the skill of guessing, the skill of analyzing, that is what you need. Look at correct chronological order. Easy it is with your existing knowledge. Characters of men, women, I don't know. Men, manners, I don't know. Advancement of learning, I know Bacon. Inquiry into original, blah, 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 I don't know. The plan of a dictionary of the English language, I know. Dr. Johnson, that is preface to Dr. Johnson's dictionary. So, B should be before D. For sure, B should be before D. Here, B is not before D. Here, B is not before D. Here, B is not before D. Answer must be 4. Answer 4. Why are you bothering about things that you don't know? Answer is 4. Because advancement of learning is 16th century, 17th century. And plan of a dictionary is 18th century. Any child will answer this. Okay. Read the following statements carefully. Okay. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote Canterbury Tales, Troilus Cressida, Legend of Good Women. A is correct. John Milton wrote Astrophilensella. B is wrong. A is correct. B is wrong. S.T. Coleridge composed Rime of Ancient Marriage. Curse of Kahama is Sade. C is wrong. C is wrong. Shakespeare wrote Two Gentlemen, Rape of Lucrece. D is correct. A and D correct. Alexander Pope's work Dunciad, Rape of the Lock and Epistle. E. So A, D, E must be correct. A, D, E is the answer. That is also a direct question. Very easy. Okay. Next question. Question number 66, I guess. Question number 66. Here we go. Ursula Anton Skrebensky is in The Rainbow. I have taught you. Encyclopedia. Gudrun and Gerald Critch, Women in Love. Connie and Oliver Melos, Lady Chatterley's lover. Miriam and Paul, Sons and Lovers. Very easy. Answer is 3, I guess. Okay. Next question. Oh no, I don't know any of these. You are thinking. Sk, idem, lock, sit. Passim. Look at it carefully. I know this. I'll crack this. This is just logical reasoning. The same in the place cited. Lock, sit must be cited. C must be 2. Because sit is there. Sit means cited. C must be 2. Only one is there. C and 2. That is 3. 3 is the answer. Correct. Why are you bothering about other things? You don't trust yourself enough. That's why you have to trust yourself. This is very easy for everyone. Those who study, I mean. Isn't it very easy? Because we are supposed to know this. Is it 70? Correct. 69. Oh, no. 68 it is here. 68 is here. Which of the following statements given by J.S. Mill is in subjection of women. I don't know. I never read subjection of women. But still, the husband was called the Lord. She's a slave. Wives are in general. Wife is the actual one. And just click something if you don't know. Something you click. Next time I will read subjection of women. Okay, thank you. Bye. 69. My babe is so beautiful. It thrills my heart. It is not Lucy Gray. All the Lucy Gray poems about Lucy died or Lucy is somewhere in the forest or nature. I am away from Lucy. I am remembering her. It is not like this. My baby. And Ode on Melancholy is totally wrong. It's not like this. Prayer for My Daughter is by W.B. Yeats. W.B. Yeats' style is not like this. My babe is beautiful. It thrills my heart. He will never say. He only says, oh, there is a storm. The whole world is chaknachur. Everything is going wrong. I am worried. Like that his style is. He never wrote like this about his daughter. Anyway, Prayer for My Daughter is very famous. You should know. It is, I know, because I have read it. I know this is definitely not Prayer for My Daughter. Frost at Midnight is about Coleridge talking about Hartley David, his son. Remember, he named him after David Hartley. So, Frost at Midnight. I have not read Frost at Midnight, but I guess it is Frost at Midnight. Like that, you get it. Anyway, you did not, doesn't matter. All these are not easy for you. You have to have real knowledge about all the subject. So if you study easily, you can pass. Why are you saying pattern changed and all that? What pattern changed? What pattern? 24 questions are there from British literature. Nothing to worry. Just do what you're doing. Same it is. Cynthia's Revels. Oh, this is easy. Women Beware Women. Everybody should know Thomas Middleton. Shoemaker's Holiday is Thomas Dekker. Now, rest even if you don't know. Ben Jonson wrote Cynthia's Revels. You got it. Okay. Then, Middlemarch. They always ask questions on Middlemarch. This is one of the sure shot authors and works. George Eliot and Middlemarch. If you, for all the sure shot authors and works, you should read the Wikipedia entry and browse online. And then you will know it is 8. Middlemarch. If you study only, you will know. You have to study Middlemarch from internet at least. George Eliot's works are important. Okay. Then, this is also 4 very easy topics from linguistics. I have taught you collocation. Otherwise, you should know this is a very basic word in English, collocation. Collocation means words that come together. In front of can be a collocation. It's an idiom also. No, it's a collocation. Under the greenwood tree may be a collocation. I can't remember collocations. Words that often come together in speech. They will always come together like that. I'm not remembering. Inflection, everybody should know. The word itself changes. I have taught this several times. Generative, you should know. It is borrowed from mathematics into linguistics by Noam Chomsky. Transformational generative grammar. So that also you can get. It is not difficult. Now, Erziehungsroman. If you don't know, it's because you have not studied. This is a basic thing. Bildungsroman is, these are all BA level literary terms. Bildungsroman is novel of development. Kunstlerroman is novel of an artist development. Erziehungsroman is a novel of education. In 1 second, you can write novel of education. Anyway, Bildungsroman and all are German. No, they gave not only this, but Erziehungs, that sound itself is German. This is all general knowledge. If you don't have this general knowledge, you cannot be teachers. Okay, this is not how French sounds. This is not like how Greek sounds. Erziehungsroman, Bildungsroman is German. Goethe wrote Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship. That is the archetypal Bildungsroman, isn't it? The first one, so to say. Okay, so next one. All that is general knowledge. MLA handbook. Okay, it looks like, oh my God, so much is there. But do you want to see the wrong sentences? Use a comma between month and year, or between season and year. Who doesn't know that this is wrong? June, comma 2002. Is it written like that? No. B is wrong. And D is utter nonsense. Spell out centuries in capital letters. B and D are surely wrong. You don't have to read the rest. A, C, E is the answer. You find out the wrong ones. It is very easy. Then, This is also easy. Georgian poets, BA level question. Who are the Georgian poets? Everybody knows W.B. Yeats is not Georgian. Dylan Thomas is not Georgian. W.B. Yeats and T.S. Eliot are not Georgian. So 3 must be the answer. Sorry, 2 must be the answer. 3 has Dylan Thomas. 2 must be the answer. W.B. Yeats is not. Dylan Thomas is not. Again, W.B. Yeats is there. Definitely not. T.S. Eliot not. Okay. Going to 76. Show me one difficult question, friends. It is coming, you'll think. I will show you. Language uses symbols that are primarily vocal, but maybe visual. Okay. And its subfields are phonetics, phonology, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Non-verbal communication. A, you put correct and then question mark. Maybe. Language is used for communication and its subfields are sentence processing, pragmatics, discourse analysis. Maybe. Looks like right. And then, looks like right, no problem. Language uses symbols that have unconventionalized meanings. That's wrong. Even in the next sentence, it says, language is a system of conventions. We are able to understand words because it is conventionally used. Everybody is using it as a convention. So D must be right. But C is definitely wrong. C is definitely wrong. So 3 is wrong, 1 is wrong. And then language is systematic means of communication. D looks like correct. D is correct. C is wrong. So the answer must be ABD. Last one also they go. Language has regional specific characteristics and its subfields are, I don't know. C is definitely wrong because it is unconventional. D is definitely right. A looks correct. So you will get the answer right. Maybe B, E are a little confusing, but A is correct. C is wrong. D is correct. A and D should be there. A and D should be there. C is wrong. A, B, D. Okay? That's how I got it. According to 1991 census, if you did not study, you will not know this. It is 18, but maybe if you did not study, you will not know this. Doesn't matter. Now, this is stupid easy. Who doesn't know this? First author, then title of source, then title of container. What is title of container? The book that contains the source. If there is an article, then article is the source. Title of container is the title of the book. Isn't it? Simple. Whereas if there is only a book, then that is the source. Then after that, a publisher and then publication date. Easy. Then, who among the following Mughal rulers? For me, this is easy because I will think like Babur would only kill. Aurangzeb only kills. Bahadur Shah Safar did not do anything like this. He was an idiot. Akbar was the intelligent one and he was the one interested in learning and he must have done this. He must have done this. Why, even whether it was cruel or not and all, you don't have to think. It's an experiment. Only Akbar would have done it, I would think. I don't know what you will think. Anyway, next one. Now, this also is confusing and difficult because these are all Canadian names. Only Dorothy, Livesey, I know. This is a difficult question. Without studying, we can't answer. I myself did not know. Okay. Hali, you should know it is by G.V. Desani. Tiger Claw, you may not know. But Flute of Krishna by P.A. Krishnaswamy, I have taught. Nalini is by Nissim Ezekiel, everybody should know. Hayavadana by Girish Karnad, you should know. So, very easy to guess. Very easy to guess. Hayavadana, you know. Hali, you should know. Flute of Nalini, you should know. Easy to guess. Next question. Then, which schools of criticism has strongly opposed formalism? Formalism is very insular. What is the word for it? Formalism is not insular. It is intrinsic and autotelic. It's about autotelic text. Formalism is autotelic. And you know that Marxism was against formalism, but it was against Russian formalism. Marxism was against Russian formalism, that too politically. Here it is only said formalism. Reader response criticism is against formalism because in formalism, reader is not important. Only text is important. But in reader response, reader is important. Reader response, yes. Speech act theory, you don't know. New historicism, definitely yes. That all I've taught in my classes. New historicism does not look at the text alone. It looks at the context also. So it's against formalism. Post-colonialism has nothing to do with formalism. So it must be reader response and new historicism. I think this is an easy question. Again, because reader response and new historicism are totally against formalism. Speech act theory, you don't know, it's a distractor. Post-colonialism, you're not sure. So B and D should be there, isn't it? B and D should be there. So how will you choose? Only one option is there with B and D. B, C, D. Speech act theory, you don't know, but you can still choose it. Now, identify the set of poems by W.B. Yeats. Many of these you wouldn't know. No Second Troy, you should know. Famous. Lapis Lazuli, you should know. Famous. Easter 1916, you should know. Famous. When you are old is also prescribed in many universities. I have checked out syllabi, so I know. This is the fourth one. No Second Troy, Lapis Lazuli, Eastern. For me, it is easy. Sometimes you might have got confused. Doesn't matter. But W.B. Yeats is a sure shot author. They always ask. Now, in this, also, it is very easy. You know why? Because Mad Woman in the Attic, you should definitely know, 1979. Literature of Their Own, you should know, 1977. C should come before B. You should know that. These two are very famous. Others you don't have to know. C should come before B. C is not before B. C is not before B. C is before B. That is the answer. C is not before B. So 3 is the answer. You don't even have to wonder about all these things. Elaine Sholter's Literature of Their Own is very famous. Founding text. Matt Woman in the Attic also, you should know, finished. 84. 85. This is a little tricky because of some reasons. But you know George Sainsbury. He is the man who coined the term university wits. George Sainsbury also said 4 wheels of the English novel. He was a historian of literature. I've told you this. And he was from the 19th century. He must have died in the early 20th century, but he was not a very new man. He's a historian, George Sainsbury. Out of this, which will a historian write? Will he write analyzing prose? Will he write essays by contemporary American women? Will he write Oxford Book of Essays? Who doesn't know that George Sainsbury wrote about the history of English literature? So he wrote 1, C1. 3 options are there with C1. Okay, that is why I said it is not easy. But at least one you can eliminate. Okay, now Wendy is a woman. Okay, so I might think Wendy is also an American name. So I might think B3 is the answer. B3 is the answer. This is common sense. Wendy, those who watch web series and all will know. Wendy Martin must be an American. So I will say C1, B3. You got it. C1, B3. Oh, again, 2 are there. But still, like that, a little easier it becomes. Now, let me go on to the next one. Who prepared the first blueprint on English education in India? First in India, 1792. In 1792, Charles Grant was there. William Pitt, I don't know, William Carey and all. I mean, I never heard. Why am I talking about it? Charles Grant definitely was writing at this time. And he was also first in something in English education. Choose it. That is the answer. Now, who coined the term ontotheology? Theology means religion. Onto means being, ontology, being and religion. Did Deleuze and Guattari write something about being and religion? No, they were psychoanalysts. They talked about post-structuralism and psychoanalysis. They talked about rhizome. They talked about schizophrenia, capitalism and schizophrenia. But Derrida did write about religion. Derrida wrote about mourning, about religion. I have taught you several times what are the works of Derrida. It is necessary to look at the works of Derrida. He has written about religion. Ben Jonson, who is that? I don't know. Maybe it is Derrida because he has anywhere written about it. He's about theology. So choose it. With your knowledge, you know. That is the answer. Now, next one, Kipling story. Only if you study, you will know this. Otherwise, you might want to say it is India. But Mrs. Bathurst is not an Indian name. But maybe it is British. Anyway, it is not Canada or Australia. He didn't go there. India or South Africa. Mrs. Bathurst, maybe an Indian white woman in India. You may go wrong here if you don't know. Then, look at this. Who developed the concept of cultural circuit? It is oral history method. This is research-based question. Michael Holroyd, is the biographer of Bakhtin, and he's the husband of Margaret Drabble. Zygmunt Bauman wrote about liquid modernity. I've taught you. He did not write anything about oral history. Oral history is totally different. So it has to be 3 or 4. Answer is 4, but at least that much you can check. Then Macaulay was the practical man of affairs. Yeah, Macaulay was very practical, helping and rejoicing in the progress of his beloved country. A is completely right. So answer is not 3 or 4. Ruskin was like a Hebrew prophet. Ruskin like a prophet? Not at all. Because I've taught you Ruskin is a commercial class man. He believed in art for life's sake. And the burden of his message was, woe to them that are at ease in Zion. Looks like wrong. Because you know that Ruskin was a practical man from the commercial class. I have said that. Do you remember? He talked about art for life's sake. Doesn't look like Hebrew poet. Arnold was much like the cultivated Greek. His voice was soft. Yeah. He was a very classical man. Very serious. Maybe correct. Newman was like the best prose writers in expressing his thought. Maybe with naturalness. Correct hoga. Matlab, you don't know for sure, but maybe. But this looks a little wrong because this doesn't match with what you know of Ruskin. And that is the answer. B is wrong. A, C, D. That is the answer. There is nothing wrong here. These are all very good questions, actually. These are not to be contested, actually. They are very good questions. Very intelligent questions. And this is definitely not AI. This has human intelligence behind it. It is made from a feeling of the author. I admire this question, really. Then, gender trouble. Everybody should know, 1990. Bodies that matter. Everybody should know, 1993. History of sexuality was somewhere in the 1970s. 1970s, history of sexuality. Lesbian criticism, gay literature. Definitely history of sexuality was before that. C is before B and D. Okay? And this sounds like 21st century. New lesbian criticism. Definitely it is not 1990s. It is 20th century. A history of gay literature, the male tradition. 21st century only, these two. These two. With that, you can guess this. With this knowledge, you can guess this. C must be first. Okay? Then A and E. C, A, O. In between, D comes. Doesn't matter. But then there's a little problem. Whether it is 3 or 4, you will get confused. Okay, not easy. But anyway, it is not 1 or 2. All right. It is mostly C. Okay. Usually, when you are in trouble and one C is involved, you should choose C. Now, Nissim Ezekiel founded Quest. So this is Indian literature, but journals, Indian literature and journals and writers workshop also. If you don't study, you will not know. This is not easy. Okay, next one. It's not easy. I'm not blaming you. Who coined the term bricolage? It is Claude Lévi-Strauss. So that is easy. The term trace, which refers to the trace of the other, has been borrowed by Jacques Lacan. We only know Jacques Derrida. Derrida coined the term trace, only we know. Then why do you want to question it? But trace is Emmanuel Levinas, according to them. I don't know. I would say Derrida, but it looks like it is wrong. Okay, that is not easy. Now look at this one. Next one. English literature was offered as a subject of study at King's College, London in 1831. English literature. You might think it is wrong, but look at the next one. English was first offered as a subject of study in England. Arey yaar. English means English language. English language came in 1828 and then English literature in 1831. Doesn't look like that. Hey, no. English language must have been there before that. Do you mean to say that in Milton's time there was no English language in universities? Do you mean to say that in Wordsworth's time there was no English language in universities? No. In Cambridge, Wordsworth studied English. Definitely B is wrong. Though taught as a medium of instruction and a subject of study in India since 1850s, Oxford and Cambridge did not allow the new subject of English literature to be taught till the end of the 19th century. Maybe correct, we don't know. Was English literature taught before this? Let us keep it aside. In 1931, English replaced the study of classics. I don't think that is right. English never replaced Greek and Latin. Greek and Latin were always there in Oxford. I have been to Oxford to deliver papers 4 times. I know. Maybe you don't, but Greek and Latin was replaced by English is too much, isn't it? They are such classical languages. Till the end of the 19th century, literature meant only the study of great books in classical languages like Greek and Latin. No, English literature came in the Renaissance period, didn't it? But in Oxford and Cambridge, till the end of the 19th century, literature meant only the study of great books. Okay, let us look at this. B is definitely wrong. So answer cannot be 3 and 4. B is definitely wrong. This is wrong, I think. You should think like that. And then you can choose between 1 and 2. No, B is here also. So answer should be ACE. If B is wrong, English was offered as a subject of study only in 1828. That means long after Wordsworth and Milton and Dryden, everybody studied. B is wrong. This is any English student should know. And everywhere there is B except in one. So ACE. Got it. Then, John Story is a very basic man in culture studies. We should have studied, at least now we should study all the basic. John Story is a very basic theorist, because from the beginning of culture studies, all the basic readers he wrote. So they are wondering whether you know John Story. Then next time you should study basic culture studies. Look at this. Feminism is concerned with the marginalization of women in patriarchal culture. Correct. Feminist critics explain how the subordination of women is reflected or challenged by literary texts. Correct, Hannah. Feminist critics explain that. Mary Wollstonecraft defines 4 models of sexual difference. Mary Wollstonecraft, 17th century. Biological, maybe. Linguistic, maybe. Psychoanalytic, no. There was no psychoanalysis in 17th century. Psychoanalysis began with Freud. C is utter nonsense. Isn't C nonsense? I think it is nonsense. You should think like that. Feminist critics' goals are to expose patriarchal premises, resulting prejudices, promote, discourage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let it be. Maybe yes. Simone de Beauvoir prefers womanism. No, that is Alice Walker. So C and D are totally wrong. Anybody should know this. Alice Walker, womanism. Mary Wollstonecraft cannot do psychoanalysis. So C and D are wrong. If C and D are wrong, it must be ABD. ABD is the answer. Then, since the publication of Samuel Johnson's preface to Shakespeare in 1765, I have taught you this. Samuel Johnson said that unities of place and time are only cumbersome. Unity of action is important. This is very major concept. Unity of action is important. Unity of time and place are only cumbersome, he said. So answer is unities of time and place. Okay, next question. If a glide is distinct enough to be heard. Okay, glide. Glide is heard. Okay, glide means what? Diphthong. V plus V. Diphthong. Vowel plus vowel. Diphthong. The vowel plus glide will be treated as, it is, I think, more mathematics than linguistics. Vowel is V plus V. 3 V's we have. It cannot be sequence of 2 consonants. Nonsense. It cannot be monophthong. If there are 3 vowel sounds, will you have monophthong? Already glide is diphthong. With that, one more vowel is there. So you should write sequence of 2 vowels. It cannot be monophthong. When there are 3 vowel sounds, how can there be monophthong? Already one glide or diphthong is there. Plus 1 vowel is there. It cannot be diphthong. The two are there now. Glide, and maybe this is the answer. You should think like that. It is logical reasoning, actually. Now, poverty and un-British rule I have never heard. Gora, I know Rabindranath Tagore. D3. Slave Girl of Agra and love songs and elegies are there in our material. I have taught this. Slave Girl of Agra is Ramesh Chandra Dutt. Love songs and elegies, Manmohan Ghose. So, and also only one D3 is there. Gora, Rabindranath Tagore. Only one D3 is there. Okay. Then, Arrange the following works of criticism chronologically. Never heard any of these? Doesn't matter. That is a difficult question. Out of all these questions, only one or two difficult questions I have seen actually. This is directly from everybody's study preparation. I have taught this. Everybody should know this. These are the commissions and committees. They should be arranged in chronological order. You should know this. Okay, next question. He turned his back on the 2 decades of hypocrisy. He doesn't know. I don't know. Welsh tradition. Dylan Thomas. Correct. Welsh is Dylan Thomas, you know. He's identified as a representative of Middlebrough voice. His poetry plays with and against romanticism. Against romanticism is by Kingsley Amis. And against romantic tradition, I've taught you, is Philip Larkin. If you remember that, you will be able to guess this. Otherwise, you will only know B1. There are 2 B1s. But I hope you have read the encyclopedia enough so that you remember this. Okay. Then, this is very easy. You should know Serpent and the Rope, 1960. You should know Bend in the Ganges. Waiting for the Mahatma is 1955. These are classics of Indian literature. You can't blame them for asking. Right? So, that is also not easy. Then, In Other Worlds, okay, that is by Gayatri Spivak. You should know that. Nation and Narration, 1990. Modernity at Large is Arjun Appadre. So it came after Nation and Narration for sure. Nation and Narration is earlier. Like that, Nation and Narration is 1990, you know. In Other Worlds is 87 or something, right? Before this anyway. So, the other two, see, A, capitalism. Post-colonial literary studies first 30 years. Arey yaar, post-colonial studies started in 1990s. First 30 years, matlab, it must be a book written in 21st century. Post-colonial theory, which studied post-colonial literature, started only in 1990. Okay, 1990s is post-colonialism. So, B and A, capitalism sounds like a 21st century concept. You should think. A, capitalism is not an early concept. These are all current concepts. So B and D must be last, you should think. Like that, with common sense, maybe you will be able to get it. Now, which of the following is not a literary research? Okay, I'm doing literary research. Am I using bibliography and textual criticism? Yes. Am I using biographical criticism? Yes. Am I doing interpretive criticism? Yes. Answer must be experimental. Easy. Now, next one. Okay, father of South African poetry. I did not teach you. I did not know. You did not know also. So Thomas Pringle, we now learned. Good. Now, which of the following statements must be given by Barbara Johnson? Deconstruction is not synonymous with destruction. God knows. I don't know what she said. We don't know what she said. Deconstruction is not a dismantling if anything is destroyed in it. Deconstruction as a mode of interpretation works by careful back. We don't know, so just mark something. Okay. Now, Lord Curzon used the report of Indian Universities Commission of 1902. Maybe you didn't get that right. It is not easy. Withdraw Indian Universities Act is wrong. Give representations to Indians in policy making is wrong. Because Indian Universities Commission was more controlling. It was not giving representation. It was centralizing, not decentralizing, we can guess. The British always centralized. Decentralization is wrong. Give representation to Indians is wrong. They did not do that. It must be 3 or 4. Like that you should think. And it is 4. Answer. Then Mikhail Bakhtin traces the roots of the novel back to Imperial Rome. That you have not heard. You are wondering whether that is right. And ancient Hellenistic romances. You don't know it. Okay. Henry James considers the novel. You don't know it. Margaret and Doody. You don't know. But this question is not about any of this. This question is, do you know who said novel is one bright book of life? That is D.H. Lawrence. I have taught you. You should know this. If you know D is correct. D is wrong. Then you know which is the answer because all 3 has D. Only ACE is the answer. Easy. Margaret and Doody is a distractor. You cannot go to the exam studying Margaret and Doody because they will laugh at you, because their aim is not to make you study Margaret and Doody, but their aim is to make you understand there is only the need of this one question here. There is no AI here. There is a brilliant human brain behind this. There is no AI here. Okay. I am so happy with this. Okay, this is also difficult. If you don't know all these things, you don't know chronological order. Just mark something, finished. Surprised by saying, you know, Stanley Fish. Others you don't know. But Norman Holland is a psychoanalytic reader response theorist. Louis Rosenblatt did transactional theory. Transaction means reader and text. Between reader and text is there. Are you able to understand? Louis Rosenblatt is between reader and text. Transactional. Norman Holland is psychoanalytic. So Norman Holland may not write reader, text, and poem. Surprised by Sin is Stanley Fish. A2. Norman Holland must be B or D. And transactional can be this. Walter J. Slatoff also can be that. But with your knowledge that Louis Rosenblatt talked about transactional, reader, text, poem, transaction. Actually, that is by Louis Rosenblatt. With your, I have told you, trust your knowledge. I have taught you enough and more to guess. Do not think too much. Norman Holland is psychoanalytic. So maybe students who studied it might have guessed. All right. Territorialization and deterritorialization. Actually, deterritorialization, they said, I think. They always talked about territory. Plateau, rhizome. Deleuze and Guattari. Okay. Who described Raja Ram Mohan Roy as the inaugurator of modern age? Might be Mahatma Gandhi, might be Rabindranath Tagore. You don't know correctly. Not easy. It is Rabindranath Tagore. Now, this is a silly question. Even school children will write. Jacques Derrida's archive fever is about what? Archival method. What else? Don't overthink. Archival. Then, arrange the following words chronologically. Dang, you don't know? Difficult. The term reminder may be first used by, you don't know? Reminder. Giorgio Agamben talked about homo sacer. He talked about people who are living in precarity, who are not given any worth in this society. Giorgio Agamben, remainder. Guy Debord is the author of Society of the Spectacle. He is there mentioned in our culture studies easy handbook. Jürgen Habermas, reminder. It is not easy to guess. It is Jacques Derrida. Okay. Who has written the two pillars upon which theory of criticism must rest? You know that William Emerson wrote 7 types of ambiguity. Actually, he did not write many books explaining theory of criticism. Who wrote about theory of criticism? Who wrote about criticism? Only you know I.A. Richards and J.C. Ransom. I.A. Richards wrote Principles of Literary Criticism. J.C. Ransom wrote The New Criticism. The two pillars upon which theory of criticism must rest are value and communication. I.A. Richards talked about 2 kinds of meaning, 4 kinds of meaning, 2 functions of language. Sounds like I.A. Richards. It is I.A. Richards. Because you know about I.A. Richards more. With that knowledge, you can guess. Why do you unnecessarily think? As a critic, I.A. Richards, you know a lot. A lot of things you know. But it is not easy to guess, I know. But I'm saying trust yourself, at least in the next exam. Miller's play Crucible was written in verse. You don't know that? American Dream is a play by Edward Albee. I've taught you that. You know it. About the absurd situation and immediate realities. Yes. Miller's play The Price. It is there in our encyclopedia. It's about 2 brothers talking about the price of the furniture after the death of their father. The price. The price is not about all this. It is not Baroque palace or anything. D is wrong. B is right. D is wrong. E is right. Then you can guess it. Then you can get it. It's there in the encyclopedia. Okay. Next one. She's born. Virginia Woolf, choose a statement that she said about women. Not easy unless you read Room of One's Own, etc. So if you don't know the text, this one is difficult. Because she might have said. Easy, easy, easy. Silas Marner, The Weaver of Ravello, Sibyl or The Two Nations, Frankenstein, The Modern Prometheus, Oliver Twist, The Parish Boys, Progress. Okay. So many questions were there from British literature, guys. You didn't notice. The notion of author constitutes the privileged moment of individualization. That means he is praising the author. He is not saying the author is dead. The notion of author is a privileged moment, he is saying. The author is saying. It cannot be death of the author. Hey, 3 and 4 you never heard. Choose What is an Author by Foucault. That is the answer. The notion of author is a privileged moment. Roland Barthes won't say, right? Arrange the following stages of first language acquisition. How do children acquire? Easy. Because 2-word stage, telegraphic speech, 1-word stage, you don't know all this, but cooing and babbling come first. Coo, children will say, babble, they will say, okay? So D and D should come first. Only one is there like that. Children's question it is. Okay. Now, name the theory which assumes that culture is not separate from nature. There is no hierarchy of actants such that the human is more privileged. Actants. Oh, hierarchy of actants. You're remembering A.J. Greimas. A.J. Greimas wrote actant theory. Actant means human beings acting. So actant means acting, actor. Choose actor network theory. You don't know Bruno Latour, but actor network theory it is. With the word actant, you can guess it. Think simple, think normal. Don't think too much. Culture and nature are all the same. That posthumanism didn't say. The posthumanism is the opposite. Cultural materialism is not about it. Adaptation theory is totally wrong. It must be actor network theory, you should think. Then, easy peasy. Pidgin, everybody knows. Creole, everybody knows. Idiolect, everybody knows. Idiolect is language special to an individual. Isn't it? Register, a language defined according to use. That is also easy. Then, next one. Delia D'Souza Correa and W.R. Owens wrote something. You don't have to know them because look at this. I think this has been contested. I think what the answer they have given is wrong. With your general knowledge and common sense, what is the answer? First and foremost, what will you do? Visit your own, first what is available online is what you will do. Then visit your own university library. Then identify nearest major research library. Then visit it. Isn't that what you will do? Or C can also come after B. Either CBAD or BCAD. CBAD you should type, you should choose. But they have given this answer. Maybe that is wrong. I would say this is the answer. What is available online? Then visit your university library. I don't know what these people said, but common sense says like this. Okay. Then, who wrote to the Committee of Public Instruction, introducing English as the official language of the government and that of education? Who supported English education? Only one man supported from what we know. William Bentinck. And Macaulay did the presentation on minute on English education because of William Bentinck, right? So choose William Bentinck. We don't know what the others said about English education, but we know Macaulay supported it. William Bentinck supported it. What Macaulay wrote is William Bentinck's ideas. I've taught you that. William Bentinck. Then, who has said that his criticism is a byproduct of his private poetry workshop? So somebody is there who is both critic and poet. And a prolongation of the thinking that went into the formation of my own verse. Sounds a little modern. It cannot be S.T. Coleridge or Matthew Arnold. This is mainly a poet who is also a critic. It must be Ezra Pound or T.S. Eliot. Choose T.S. Eliot. If you don't know, you can go wrong, but for me, it sounds like T.S. Eliot. It's not easy, but maybe possible to guess. Next. For Arnold, culturist. This is very stupid school level question. Silly question. The ability to know what is best may be. The ability to know what is worst is absolutely wrong. The pursuit of what is worst is absolutely wrong. B and E are absolutely wrong. So ACD. Clear? Now, Shakespeare was the Homer or father of our dramatic works. 1,000 times we have studied this. John Dryden. Correct. Then, choose the correct statements regarding the scope of linguistics. You will think this is difficult. To describe and trace the history of all observable languages, maybe. To determine the forces that are permanently and universally at work in all languages, maybe. To study manifestations of civilized human speech only. That is wrong, because linguistics can be about Africans and, tribal people also. So it says wrong. To consider only correct speech and flowery language. Who doesn't know that is wrong? C and D are wrong. You don't have to read the rest. A, B, E is the answer. Okay. Which of the following critics is associated with Frankfurt School? Easy. Because we all study this. This is very basic. Walter Benjamin, Max Horkheimer, Leo Lowenthal. If you went wrong, it is only because you didn't study. Okay. Next question. Ta-da-da. Nothing you know. Okay. On the knocking at the gate in Macbeth, De Quincey. C1. Only one C1 option is there. Got it. You call this a difficult exam. You have to do reading. In the exam hall, it should not be the first time you are reading. Every day, read. In our new net course, I have incorporated a lot of reading. We are doing a lot of such questions in class. That will really help. Doing questions. And what happened in Vallath? Many of you were mugging up that because we taught so much and so well that you didn't do our model tests. Many model tests you missed. You should do it on laptop. Next time we should do, okay, don't worry now. We should do next time. Okay. Which bibliography is concerned with the close analysis of individual copies of books? Close analysis of individual copies in the light of our own knowledge. I know something and I am analyzing books. I know something, analyzing. What is that? Is it descriptive, analytical? Obviously analytical. Enumerative, historical. It is analytical. Okay. Who is of the opinion that the concept of ideology is the most important conceptual category? Okay, Graham Turner is mentioned in our Culture Studies Easy Handbook, but this is not an easy question. Next is, who among the following reconciled discrepancies between various classical authors? Discrepancies between classical authors such as Plato and Aristotle. Did John Dryden do classical authors like Plato and Aristotle? I never studied or read anywhere that John Dryden did that. Okay, I don't think John Dryden it is. Longinus never did that. The reconcile discrepancy and all, Longinus never did. Did Philip Sidney do or Neoplatonus? Philip Sidney was copying Aristotle. He did not reconcile discrepancies. It is Neoplatonus. This one, only if you study, you know. In Joseph Conrad bibliography in Wikipedia, under short stories, this is the first one, Tales of Unrest. So, sure shot authors, please read in detail. From Wikipedia, from the bibliography, just look at in detail, sure shot authors. Now, Chronotope, Bakhtin, everybody knows. Next one. Arey yaar, easy peasy. Who doesn't know this? Feminine Mystique is Betty Friedan, D1. Only one D1 is there. Got it? In fact, all these I've taught you. Then, easy peasy. Alienation Effect, Bertolt Brecht, D3. Only one D3 is there. Got it? Silly. Then, comprehension I'm not going into because it won't be possible to read all this and explain. The purpose of this video is not to tell you the correct answers or anything. I just wanted you to know, those who are studying, according to my directions, you are on the right track. You are doing a great job with your knowledge. If you practice, you can easily pass. Do not panic. There is no pattern change in the exam hall. It is only because you did not practice this kind of questions that you went confused. And also, the exam was not easy, not difficult for everyone. Only recent students are saying it's difficult. People who have been studying from the past, those who have experience are saying it was easy. So let us get practice. Let us do the right way. This time, the course is completely revamped at Vallath. Rather than teaching and mugging up, no focus on mugging up. Our focus is now on skill development. Okay? So see you in the course, or see you on YouTube, or even if I don't see you, wish you all the very best. You are great. You are doing amazing work. Just keep your cool in the exam hall. Think clearly. Whenever I do question paper analysis, follow me. Look at all the previous question paper analysis I've done, because it is the same thinking that is there in every question paper. If you get that thinking right, you will get the answers right, and you will get your career right. Okay, good night. Sorry for keeping you late.